Welcome back, everybody, to Just Keep Parenting. Just keep swimming, right? That's all we can do most days is just keep swimming. So today, this week I had one of my past students reach out about sibling rivalry. And she asked, do you have any videos about sibling rivalry? And I said, you know what, I don't think I do, actually. So I sent her some information that might help with it. And then I thought, you know what, that's what we need to do our video on today is sibling rivalry. And she talked about how she's got a couple of kids that one of them is a hitter, and they sometimes can't seem to work out, right? They can't seem to work out their issues as they're playing. And so anyway, I went to Mr. Rogers and thought, I know he's got something in there about that. And he does. He has one on that's called Brothers and Sisters. And I just want to read this little vignette at the beginning. When my children got into fights with each other, I used to listen to both sides and try to be fair in judging who was right and who was wrong. But the fights didn't stop, and I realized that I was probably making things worse by trying to be the referee. When the two of them argue now, I love this, I get them to figure out a solution themselves. They aren't always able to do that, but they don't ask me to jump in as often. I think they're getting better about solving their own conflicts. That's what we want our children to do. That's what I want the students to do here in the lab school, right? And so we use the high scope resolving conflicts concept to be able to do that. And the teachers all have it on their clipboard. And so when there are conflicts, then the teachers are able to listen to both sides, right? And sometimes we have a child that's like, but no, and I'm like, wait a minute, just a minute. It's her turn to talk now. And in just a minute, you'll get your turn to talk. So they say, and so then I say, so I understand that this is how you're feeling. This is what happened. We talk to the other child, right? This is how you're feeling. So it sounds like you both wanted to ride the same bike today. And we only have one of those bikes. So how are we going to solve this problem? And 9 times out of 10, my friends, they solve it, right? They say, well, we could take turns. And so then the discussion becomes, yeah, but who's going to be first? Well, how about you go first for a short ride, and then I'll go first for a short ride, and then you can go for a long ride, and then I'll go I mean, it's amazing that they can work things out when they have that adult that's helping them think things through and recognizing that it's not necessarily about being right or wrong, right? It really is about, can we work through this problem? I saw yesterday, my student teacher was at the carpet, and there was a little scuffle with a child who wanted to sit in a place that she thought was hers, and then she left, and somebody else came back, and she said, how can we solve this problem? And one of the little boy that was sitting on that color said, well, she can have my place, right? And then he moved. And I just thought, we don't give children enough credit for figuring out how to solve problems. We just always want to step in and be that referee that they refer to. I love the fact that when he says brothers and sisters shape a child's early experiences almost as much as parents do, right? That's who they grow up with, right? Children learn about getting along with those who have different perspectives and different abilities, because we're not the same in a family. So we all have different perspectives and different abilities. Living through each day, they come to understand something essential about love. There can be times of impatience as well as kindness, disappointment as well as thoughtfulness, anger as well as forgiveness. Even though brothers and sisters may fight and disagree, they have a unique connection unlike any other. One of the biggest issues, right, with that is the fact that they're competing. They're competing for their parents' love. That's the first real competition in their life. And so they want to be the parents' one and only, the most beloved, right, the most treasured. And we have to figure out that, I love how he says, even older children who are secure in their family may have ambivalent feelings about a new baby. Anybody would like to be his or her parent's one and only loved child, but giving that up can be an enormous boost in growing. So we know that we have different ages, we have different interests as siblings in families, And he talks about how sometimes the first and second child may have the biggest rivalry, right? Because that older child is learning new things like night and day. The younger child is too, but they're not learning the same things. And so that younger child really looks up to the older child because they love them, right? They idolize their older sibling. And that older sibling is like, yeah, no, I got other things going on in my life, right? To worry about this younger sibling that wants to be with me all the time. He goes on to say the older child is excited about learning and mastering new things and is not very concerned with the things that matter to the younger child. The younger child often hasn't the slightest idea what the older brother or sister wants or needs. It can take a long time before they're able to play well together. So they find also, most parents find that competition lessens, right, as their children get older and become involved in activities outside the house, right? A little time away always helps us feel better about when we come home. He says, when children sense that we value each one's gifts, talents, and ideas, then they're more likely to grow into people who have had that kind of respect for each other, right? So recognizing that kids do want our approval as the adults in their life, right? But we're not going to have the same because our children are not the same. So helping them to understand that and recognizing that parents have expectations, right? We want to be that perfect parent. We want to be that perfect adult in their life, right? But we're not, right? We have to rewind all the time, say that again, let's start over. They can also feel there's something very special about giving their older child or children a gift of a lifetime friend who shares the family history. That's what we want for our kids. Our expectations and fantasies about that probably have a lot to do with our own growing up with or without brothers and sisters. We want them. We're giving them this gift. We're giving you this friend for life, right? And sometimes that's not how it goes. Parents are often disappointed when their children aren't good buddies. But in most families, it takes a long time for brothers and sisters to work through their competition for their parents' attention. And I would say, growing up, we had two families. We always called them the older and the youngers. And I don't remember my first three siblings ever living at the house with me because there was an 8-year gap between those. And I would say that I love to hang out with my siblings. We are good friends now. I'm not sure we were good friends growing up, but we are good friends now. So in Mr. Rogers' fashion, right, he talks about helpful hints to be able to help our children with. Make sure that you let your children have some time away from each other, right? Let them know that it's okay to say, I can't play with you right now, but I will later. We use that a lot in the classroom. And making sure that that child comes back. Now, yesterday you said you didn't want to play with them, but you would tomorrow. And so tomorrow is here, right? Helping them fulfill that commitment, that promise that they made. Encourage your children to do something together that's non-competitive and creative, like making paper chains, playing with a play, like Play-Doh or art materials, something that's non-competitive for them and they can just enjoy with each other. The third one, he says, is trying the best to give each child some of your undivided attention, perhaps at bedtime, when a younger child naps, or dinner, or on the weekend, right? Daddy dates, mommy dates, auntie dates, whatever it is, to be able to share and give them some of your undivided attention. The fourth one he talks about is make different bedtimes if possible for children so that you can have that one-on-one time with them before going to bed. That's not always possible, right? But as the kids get older, maybe it might be easier. The fifth one is many families found that conflicts decrease if the older children know that there are some things they do not have to share, right? So putting them up on a higher shelf so the youngers can't get to them. We like to share most things, but these are some things that I don't have to share. And then the next one, when one child has a friend over to play, right, it's important not to insist that they include a brother or sister in that play. So if you can be, working on a meal or reading a book together, but giving that other sibling time to play with their friend on their own. And then the last one he talks about is if you know another family that has the same age children as you do, to be able to say, can the olders come to your house and the youngers come to my house, and be able to have a play date with someone of their own age. Okay, so one of the things that we didn't talk about was mediating conflicts, right? And we kind of talked about that at the beginning, but making sure that the children want to come out on the top. They want to be the favorite. They want to be the winner, and making sure that that doesn't happen, right? Let's solve this conflict together. He says it's better to help children learn to listen to each other without interrupting and work together to settle their own conflicts. But we have to model that. We have to teach that with them, right? We have to be that mediator for them. I know you both want to play with the same thing. Let's think of some ways to work it out, right? We can't take sides, place blame, or focus on what caused the problem. Being able to resolve the conflict peacefully is one of the greatest strengths we can give to our children now and for the rest of their lives. I might just mention that there's a great book out that is called Siblings Without Rivalry, and it's by, I never can say their name correctly, but they are the same people who wrote How to Talk So Your Kids Will Listen and Listen So Your Kids Will Talk. But this is what it looks like, Siblings Without Rivalry. And how to help your children live together so you can live too. Anyway, it's a wonderful book. If you need a little extra reading or ideas, that's a great book to go to. Thanks for joining us today here on Just Keep Parenting. Send it out to somebody who maybe you've talked to who's having the same issue or struggles in their parenting. Thanks for joining, everybody. Make it a great day.